gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Boom. Art. Okay, hi. We're doing an art assignment. We're gonna be doing whitescapes. You get a bunch of white stuff, put it in front of other white stuff, look at the colors. Ooh! So this is gonna be like our back base, and then we have a bunch of objects, and we're gonna put them together. We're gonna change the lights. It's gonna be fun. Let's do it. So to start with, we have this paper towel here, and you can definitely kind of see already, like, this is a bit more of a dark white here, the sheet, as opposed to the paper towel. Like, as you look at the sheet in the back here, you can see it's almost more of like a tannish yellow as opposed to a pure white. And the paper towel is, oddly enough, I was expecting when I did this for the background to be our closest white, and then whatever we put in front of it would look slightly different, but I'm actually getting the opposite here. And the paper towel that we've put on top is more of a pure white, and we have a bit of a yellowish tan kind of a tint to our sheet. So I'm just real quick gonna get these lights turned off, and we'll see how that changes things. Everything's a little bit darker, but you're changing all of the lights all at once, so everything gets a little bit darker, but it all kind of stays in relation to one another. Everything is darker proportionally, and you still have that same kind of a little less yellow now and more maybe like a hint of brown in the sheet, and a little grayer in the paper towel, but you know, you still have that sort of relationship of these two objects being the same something. I have words, I know things. Alright, so we're going to get the lights back on here, and we're going to add an object. So now we have this towel here, and it's almost kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum as our sheet here, which went a little bit yellow. This is a little darker, and I'm seeing a little bit of shades of blue in here, and they're actually in here. There is a little bit of these are marks on the towel that are kind of black, but regardless, this is definitely going kind of blue, and this is still pretty much our neutral kind of a white over here. So now let's add you. I think with this one that I just added in, I don't know if it's really coming across on camera, but this is definitely like the most dramatic instance I've noticed of when, as soon as you take it off and put it on, there's a noticeable difference in the color. Like, this is a pretty white container outside of this context, but right now it looks really, really gray to me, especially with the yellow and the bluish blackish over here, and especially in comparison to like our pure white. This is a very gray sort of white. Now I'm curious what would happen, because we have several different colors in relation to each other, and we saw before when we basically just had the white and the yellow, what happened when you changed the lights. But I'm curious to see now, because we have a slightly more yellowish white here, what would happen if we were to add yellow light. Most of this didn't change all that much. You still have a pretty, white, yellow, gray, but this one to me is very interesting, because I don't know a whole lot about color theory, but adding the yellow to this, for me, this is pretty much a pretty pure white as well right now. And this one is actually a bit darker now. So you've added yellow light to everything. This has gone a little darker, a little grayer, and this, has gone from a little bit of blue to mostly white. Alright, so we're just going off of my super limited knowledge of color theory, and I could be getting this completely wrong, but I think yellow and blue are opposite each other, so I'm curious to see if adding yellow to our blue got us this. Will that have the same effect on our sheet if we add blue? And I mean, it kind of did. Like, there's definitely less of a yellow tint to this now, but it's still, like, it's made out of a darker fabric than anything else that's on here, and it's definitely still, it's closer to gray now than I would say yellow, I think. And of course, I mean, eyes, camera, maybe not seeing exactly the same stuff, but for me, this is a bit more gray than it is yellow. So let's get some more stuff. John Green? Who's that guy? So now when I add this candle here, I'm seeing a lot of like gray in here and a little bit of yellow, and as I think about that, that kind of matches this a bit. So I'm curious to see exactly what would happen when I go like this. And as soon as I do that, by contrast, this is a bit grayer and a bit more yellow, I think. By contrast, this starts to feel very white as opposed to the gray and the yellow that I was seeing before. And as soon as I move it back here, gray and yellow-ish. So now I'm just going to do a couple more things with our lights in here. I'm going to turn all of those off, close these. I'm going to get it as dark in here as possible. So, not super surprising, I took all the light away and then added some fire and everything's kind of orange. Wow. Science. You know, I keep thinking that I'm supposed to have like some final thoughts here and be like, well, all in all, this is what I discovered. And but I just keep looking at the way this light changes and this whole structure here, and I don't really think I need any last thoughts. I think the whole point of this was just to kind of dive in and see what happened. And I'm pretty okay with what happened. I had a lot of fun doing this. I haven't been scratching that creative itch like I've wanted to the last few years, and this is the first time in a long time I've really let myself just kind of jump in and make something without really overthinking it, and that's a really important thing, and I'm really glad I did it.